These black slaves don't dare to believe their own eyes. Obviously, everyone has black skin. Why do they have to work hard every day? And the man across the street is wearing a suit. There is also a white driver by his side. He is willing to work hard. He doesn't even need to make a little effort. Even the door of the car is closed for him by the driver. This is definitely a subversive scene in the South of the United States. And it's just as incredible as these black slaves. There is also a white girl who met at the intersection of the red and green lights. When she saw the noble white man as a driver for the black man who was close to her, she immediately cast a doubtful look. And Tony didn't care. He even returned to a very friendly gesture. But such a white driver, who dared to stand up for the black man. A few months ago, he was still an extreme racist. His wife just gave 2 black men a glass of water to drink. As a result, the next second, he very reluctantly threw both glasses into the trash can. His wife was very helpless when she saw the consequences. But it's hard to say anything more. After all, Tony is the source of income for the whole family. He has absolute right to speak. His job is a security guard at a nightclub. Whenever a guest wants to get drunk and make trouble, the boss just needs to shout. Tony will appear on time. In the eyes of others, he quickly solves all the troubles as usual. If the guest is still ungrateful, then he will let the other party experience the power of fists. Tony is not only good at reporting, he is also very smooth in handling things. A VIP gave the hat to the receptionist. He also specifically reminded that this was a gift from his mother, extremely precious. And Tony, who stood by the side, took advantage of the other party's departure. Immediately take out a small fee and bribe the receptionist. Let him pretend to lose the hat. After the guest was thunderous in front of the reception, he appeared with the hat. The joy of getting back what he lost made the guest extremely generous. He gave a big silver coin as a small fee. He even wanted to be close to Tony, but such a good thing does not happen every day. More often than not, Tony still needs to do other jobs, in order to barely maintain a family life. However, the store suddenly posted a notice of suspension of decoration. It made him lose the main source of income for a moment. In the next 2 months of work, he must use his brain to face the difficulties of life. In order to make up for the household expenses, he was not afraid to come. He even went to the hot dog shop's David King competition. His opponent is the most famous foodie in town. He is also the record holder of the David King competition. This time he ate 24 hot dogs in total. Tony, who has no advantage in weight, is obviously at the bottom. After his wife learned about it, she asked him why he was doing stupid things. "You are so lucky. He is going to pay the rent next week. This $50 is a solution to the problem of burning coal." But Tony can't be so lucky every time. It is even more impossible to rely on retribution to maintain the family. The most urgent thing to do is to find a job that is short-term and stable. There is a pianist's house nearby that is hiring a driver. So the manager introduced Tony to the interview site. It's just that this room is a little bit of a mess. A video is placed everywhere. It's all my own life. At this time, a black man walks out of the room. His famous gesture is that even his clothes are gold-plated. He looks like a high-ranking king. The man's name is Shui Li Shi. He is a famous pianist in New York. He is going to start a musical tour in the South for 7 or 8 weeks. And that's the most serious place for racial discrimination. In order to ensure his own safety, he needs a driver and a bodyguard. After reading Tony's resume, the doctor thinks he is very suitable for this job. But Tony doesn't want to do it, because he is also a serious racial discriminator. Just a while ago, 2 black people came to work at home.
His wife poured a glass of water for them out of courtesy, but this scene happened to be seen by Tony. After the black man left, Tony was very disgusted and threw the glass of black people's drinking water into the trash can. He was afraid to dirty the house. Now he has to let him work for a black man. It's a little unrealistic to think about it. Just when he wanted to leave, the doctor stood up and called him
by his peers. He told the doctor what Tony had done. The doctor asked Tony to return the jade stone. But Tony said he picked it up himself. Why should he return it? Hearing this, the doctor was angry. He told Tony not to return it and not to drive. Faced with the employer's warning, Tony had no choice but to return the jade stone to its original place. Soon they came to the second performance city. As soon as Tony came over, he found that the organizer had violated the contract. Not only was the piano broken, but it was full of garbage. Tony asked the staff to change the piano to a Steinway brand, but he didn't expect that the other party would insult the doctor. That's it. Tony exchanged the doctor's treatment with a slap in the face, and he stood in the corner. He was proud to see the shining doctor on the stage. The next day they continued to set off, but the racial discrimination in the South was getting worse. They couldn't even stay in the same hotel. At night, the doctor tasted the whiskey alone downstairs. Brightly, he and other black people seemed to be separated. This time, a blind man came over. He invited the doctor to play ball together, but the doctor didn't know what to do. In order to avoid embarrassment, he lied to himself that he was going to see a friend. He got up and left the hotel. But it didn't last a minute. On the other side, Tony heard the knocking. It was the musician of the concert. He said the doctor was in trouble. After they came to the tavern, the doctor had been beaten by several white people to the point of nosebleed. Tony coughed loudly and asked them to let the doctor go. Ying, you and I know each other. In this situation, Tony reached out his hand to the back and made the action of stabbing. That's how he set up a few gangsters and saved the doctor. After coming out of the tavern, Tony told the doctor that from now on, he couldn't go anywhere without him. And the doctor, like a frightened child, listened to Tony's words. Because at that time, the racial discrimination in the South was getting worse. If the doctor couldn't fix it, he would even be in danger of death. The next day, they continued to get on the road. When they passed a farm, the car suddenly broke down. There was no way. Tony had to stop by the roadside to fix the car. At this time, the black people in the distance let go of the fire in their hands. Dr. Chow saw that he couldn't believe that a white man was driving a black man. Although they have the same skin color, their fates were so different. Looking at the black people in the farm, he felt so sad. Soon they went to the next place to perform. After the doctor's performance, he wanted to go to the bathroom, but the other party didn't let him use it. Then he pointed to the outskirts of the paper. He said, "That's where you can use it." The doctor was a little rascal, so he had to let Tony take him back to the hotel to go to the bathroom. It took at least 20 minutes to go back. Tony didn't understand why he couldn't solve it by the roadside or in the woods. However, the proud doctor said only animals would go to the woods. He said he had to keep his dignity.
Maybe it's this proud attitude that makes the black man so lonely. After the performance, the doctor shook hands with the organizer like nothing happened. Tony was regretful. Why did the doctor talk to the person who despised him? This time, his teammates came over, because he wanted to change the Southern people's view of the black man. This was Tony's first time to understand that it's not necessarily a fist to win respect. Because of this conversation, he began to admire the doctor. The next day, they went to the store to buy clothes. The boss thought it was Tony who wanted to buy it, so he took out a very precious suit. But when he saw Tony handing the suit to the doctor, the boss was displeased for a moment. He rushed to get the suit back from the doctor. Because of skin problems, he didn't even have the right to wear clothes. Faced with all this unequal treatment, he could only vent his anger on the piano. The next day, they continued to the south. As soon as they arrived, Tony met two good friends. When he saw Tony working for the black man, his friend deliberately used Italian to laugh at him. He also said, "If you can't find a job, you can come to me. I can give you more revenge." But what they didn't know was that the doctor understood Italian. After the performance, the doctor found Tony. He begged Tony not to leave him and said he could give Tony a raise. Tony refused. He said we could talk as much as we wanted, and he said he wouldn't leave him because of his salary. The doctor didn't know that Tony was arrogant, but he was very principled and bottom line. After that, they continued to work. They said they were in a superior-subordinate relationship. In my opinion, they were more like good brothers who didn't say anything. That night, they were intercepted by a police car. The police let Tony have a driver's license for no reason and let him get out of the car for inspection. After seeing the black doctor in the back row, they were more fearless and locked them directly in the detention center. The reason for detention was that the doctor didn't deserve to pass on that road. The doctor knew he was a black man. It was impossible for them to let him go unconditionally. He wanted to call the lawyer because it was his right. The police couldn't say anything more, but what they didn't know was that the doctor's lawyer was Kennedy's brother at the time. Then the white police received the phone call. The other party was the governor of this state who forced them to let him go. On the way back, Tony was proud of himself because he thought he could brag about it for the rest of his life. But the doctor wasn't happy at all and even felt ashamed. Suddenly, there was a quarrel between the two. Tony suddenly spoke his mind. He said, "You are high and mighty every day like a noble white man, but I'm running around to make a living, more like a lowly black man. This is not surprising, but it hides a deeper racial discrimination." The doctor couldn't stand it. When Tony stopped the car, he ran into the rain alone.